So I guess since our group is so small, I'm gonna like redirect a little bit of what I was going to talk about, just to say that I know that there are some of you that have done extensive amount of work in your packets. And that is awesome. And I will take those for grading. If you have not done a bunch of work in the physical packets, but you've been doing it on the internet and you have not done the reading stuff, you can still make that up. We're just trying to get more into a daily sort of, giving you a daily dose of each subject so you have some type of pacing going forward. So, I guess right now, I don't really know how to put you all off of mute, but does anyone have like a burning question about something for language arts, or how? Mia, what's up?
Miss Jackson, how are we going to send the paperwork to you?
Okay, so if you take it to the school, I'll pick it up over spring break and grade it. All right. Okay. And also, Mia, for the Edulastic stuff, actually, I put everything on Schoology. So if you want to, like, say for the Metamorphosis Part 1 questions, right? If you did them on paper and you don't want to type them again, which who would, you can take a picture of it or use the Cami app that Miss Zamble was showing you, and you can send those to me and I can grade it like that. And then for the other stuff, you can literally look at your Edulastic assessment, put in the same answers, right, and hit submit. Right? Does that make sense, Mia?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then the stuff from this week, so I believe April 6th was the first day, Monday, this week. We have been trying to go more into like, this is a regular school day, as regular as we can make a school day, okay? So keeping up with what we're doing daily will help us be able to keep up with you better. And then, like, during other times, if you have some missing work you want to make up, you can get a hold of us and have a conference with us so we can help you get the work made and let you know the times we're holding back. Does that answer your question, Mia?
Yeah.
Okay. And you can email, text, call about anything else.
I have a question.
Okay. What's up, Ashton? Or is that Ashton? Who has a question?
Yes, ma'am. Ashton.
Okay, cool. Sorry, you're like
when is like when is your grading period? Like, do y'all grade daily or weekly?
Okay, so you're asking how often are we grading? Is that what you're asking? If it's something else, you can say no. Okay, so how often are you grading?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let me tell you about me as your English teacher, and anyone else can chime in, as things come up in conversation. But basically, I assigned you guys about 6, 7 Edulastic assignments that were pretty extensive before the 3-week period started. Okay. And you had some reading to do too. So I've been trying to kind of push that to the side. Some of the grades are in for some of that. And I'll be straight up with you. Schoology has been slow on our end as teachers. And I've even spent a couple hours grading before with grades that did not even save. All right. So the 3-week packet work time, where some of us had work, mine was online. The same work that was online was in the packets. And then there was like a little extra online. Okay. And if you completed that stuff, that's great. If you want to put the answers in Edulastic, that's probably the best way to get credit for those, because I'll get those graded for break. All right. But I'm more concerned about your learning this week, just because we have been able to organize our methods and, you know, collaborations and the way that you're putting your content, you know, what you learn in school out to you and the way that you respond to us and engage with it in a way that you can understand. So it's like right now, I just want you to get this week's stuff done, okay? And then over spring break, if you have stuff you need to make up, you know, you can send me an email. If you need help with something or a reset, anything like that, I would be more than willing to assist you with. But priority right now is to get that stuff done, and I will get the rest of it graded over spring break. Okay.
Can you check the lobby real quick, is it, or Ms. Shavner, just see if anyone is showing up. I know it looks like Alasia's here at least. And you know, if you guys have a question to ask, please keep it on mute between then, because we're picking up some of your background noise. So if you do us a favor, Ashley, Anthony right now, Shway, Jayliana. So if you have a question, please do unmute yourself. We want to hear from you, but just in the meantime, that background noise is making it kind of tough.
Okay, so we got Alasia, and I think we got LeVar back in here. All right, and guys, if you do see the chat function, just go ahead and write your name in there if you haven't, so we know that you're here. Because Mr. Smith is watching. You know, he's watching for you to be here right now. He wants you in uniform and, you know, being respectful to your teachers. So he's right over on my left hand corner. But I'm gonna go ahead and go over something that we worked on this week in class on the assessments. So I'm gonna try something a little bit different. So just bear with me. I'm gonna see if this works or not. Before I went over a PowerPoint about Zoom, or excuse me, not about Zoom. That was the first day. And if you guys missed that, I'll have that all up over break. But I was going over a PowerPoint about figurative language, and I want to try to see if I can just flip my screen to that and see if that works. So this has to do with the assessments that you had on Elastic this week about the poem with the, you know, the elderly woman talking to her deceased son about things that she wished that she could have told him when he was still with her. So let me go ahead and try to share this screen and see if this works. Okay, so I'm hoping this is working. But we're going over figurative language this week, and you know how to use our vocabulary in a, you know, a literal sense and a figurative sense, and the difference being literal dictionary definition, and you know, figurative is using words and other ways to enhance meaning when we're writing and writing of others. So today, very quickly, I'm just going to go over like two examples, I think, where it shows personification and or metaphor and symbolism in the poem you have been working on this week. All right, and to review, figurative language refers to language used to convey a meaning that is different from the interpretation of the literal words on the page. Just like I said. All right, so I guess I want you guys to, if you want to type in the chat if you did use this on the assessment from yesterday about the poem from Nancy Willard, number 9, who invented water? Okay, so if you want to type in the chat right now, that's awesome. And it says here, the hands of air that wanted to wash each other. So I'm asking you, what type of figurative language is the speaker using here? And I'm not looking at the chat right now, but if you want to go ahead and type the answer before I say it, even though it's on the screen, it is personification, okay? So we all know that personification is when we use a literary device that helps us to create, I don't know, life in a place where it wasn't before. So in this case, excuse me, the hands of air, well, air does not have hands. So they weren't washing each other. And if they did have hands, we would hope they would be washing each other right now. But regardless, this is an example of personification that you could have written about in your essay response from yesterday. Okay, I liked this one. So for it said, what happens at the end of numbers? And that was the question that the speaker was asking, you know, to the speaker who is supposed to be another character within her poem. And the response was, I see 3 men running toward a field. At the edge of the tall grass, they turn into light. Okay, now this one is going to be an example of symbolism and metaphor. Because if you think about where in black up here it says what happens at the end of numbers, you know, I went to interpret that to be what happens, you know, when the years run out. And it does go on to discuss that within the poem, but it kind of, you know, is drawing a comparison between that and it says at the edge of the tall grass, they turn into light. That's, you know, a symbol for the afterlife or, you know, moving on into something else, a different realm. And it's also a comparison. So that one would be symbolism and metaphor. And if you did, you know, discuss that, you can type it in chat. I will give you guys extra points for being brave because this stuff's not easy. So I think I have one more. Oh, no. Oh, I liked this one. I talked to someone about this yesterday. If I drop my tooth in the telephone, will it go through the wires and bite someone's ear? And when you guys were talking about the theme of the poem yesterday, you know, it was nice because it was sort of our tooth into the telephone, it certainly would not bite someone's ear, because can a telephone bite someone's ear? No. But is this something the author is using, a device the author is using to make this poem more meaningful and, you know, helping it convey the message that, you know, she wants to put forth? Absolutely. So this is personification, and I believe it was very effective. So if you did use this yesterday in your writing response, that's awesome. All right, and I'm gonna stop this share screen right now. And I just wanna tell you guys, thank you for all the hard work that you are doing. And I hope that you found the quiz for Sun today. I put chapter 1 and chapter 2 into 2 different quizzes. One of them was posted yesterday, one of them was posted today. They're not long. You know, if you just read the chapters, which are just a few pages, you will do just fine. And you can get redirects for those if you ask for them. So if you guys have any questions for me, you can always email me and, you know, get a hold of me in any way that, you know, we have discussed. I've given out my my work number to, I believe, all of you, but if you still need a way to be able to message me during the day, just, you know, ask me or just look on the communications that we put on Schoology. And keep checking Schoology.